Hello once again, and welcome back to another character concept Let's Play featuring Araelas, the Druid Archer. Alright, so here we are back in Windhelm, but before we get started with this episode, let's take a quick second to recap what we did last episode. So last episode, we went to Lost Knife Hideout to find Queen Freydis' sword. And that was for Oengal, the blacksmith here in Windhelm. We used that opportunity to clear the bandit camp out using our beast form. So in werewolf form, we were able to kill and eat lots of people, which is great if you're a werewolf, not so great if you're one of those people. We were able to eat enough people that we got 2 perks, I believe, for that wolf form. So that's good. That feels good. Leveling that up to try to keep that on par with what we're doing outside of beast form. We returned Queen Freydis' sword, and we were rewarded with I think it was like $500 from the blacksmith, which isn't bad. And then off camera, I took another bounty, and I completed it. That was just another giant at Cradle Crush Rock here. We had cleared Broken Limb Camp before. I didn't feel the need to record another video of Araelas taking on another single giant, so I just took care of that off camera. And then I picked up a new bounty, this time at killing yet another giant. They have a really bad giant infestation problem here in East March, apparently. But the new bounty is to kill the giant here at Steamcrag Camp. Steamcrag Camp offers a little bit more of a challenge because I believe there is at least one giant accompanied by at least one mammoth. And we haven't taken on a mammoth before. I think it would be fun to kind of record Araelas's experiences with a new prey, such as the mammoth. And the mammoth ingredients that you get with Hunterborn, it kind of unlocks certain scrimshaw options there. So the mammoth is kind of a big deal to a hunter using Hunterborn. So I think we'll do that. But also, we heard a rumor that one of the boat captains here is looking for a mercenary. And we do happen to be a mercenary looking for work to keep our mind off of the aspect, and it looks like Kine is trying to tell us something about an animal, but I really don't feel like diving into these icy waters just yet. So we'll let him be.
Cared for Windhelm. The place is depressing.
I kind of agree, but that's what I need right now.
Sorry, but I'm not looking to hire any more crew right now.
Okay.
You don't know what freedom really means until you've lived on the river.
I prefer the forest to the water, but to each their own. So you're the ship captain?
The North Wind is my mistress, and I'm her master. I don't tolerate any disloyalty. You looking for work? Thought a sailor who thought running a gang of thieves would be more money than hauling my cargo. You make an example of that gang, I'll give you a year's worth of pay.
Well, it just so happens, I would do it for a week's worth of pay. But if you're offering up a year's worth of pay, I will take it. They're as good as dead.
That's the spirit, right? See you round.
Okay. So the details on this bounty, let's see where he pointed on the map for us here. Okay, so this is kind of out in the middle of the bay over here. So let's go ahead and activate that quest marker. So I think what we're going to do is, since this is kind of closer, well, marginally closer, and a little more out of the way from other things that we want to do, I'm going to go ahead and take care of this first. Take care of these bandits, or rogue sailors, as Kiar called them. So yeah, we're just going to have to march up the east side of this cove here, and then probably take a swim, a nice brisk swim in the crisp ocean water to get to wherever the shipwreck is. I will keep recording in case anything interesting happens, but I will probably cut very shortly to that. Just to keep you all from getting bored. One thing that I did want to point out, though, is remember Bjorn here? How he was just labeled as Araelas' cave bear companion? Well, I have installed Jackson's Renamer. And let's give Bjorn a pat on the head here real quick. Oh, who's a good boy. And now he's Bjorn. Jackson's Renamer is quite excellent. If you have SKSE installed, and it's been out for a while, I highly recommend it. Jackson's Renamer. You can do things like rename, I haven't done it yet, but you can rename regular, or any item, actually, even if it's not enchanted. You can rename it whatever you want. So if you have like a family heirloom or keepsake, you can name a regular old steel sword family heirloom, or something custom like that. It's really intuitive, and it's a great addition to your game, and a great way to facilitate roleplay in more of a tangible way in the game, instead of just doing it all in your head. Which works fine for some things, but it's always more satisfying to see it pan out in game. Okay, so we have Bjorn, who is actually Bjorn now, and I think we're going to head up toward the winter... What is that, the Winter War? Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to go do that now, and I will see you when we get there, unless something amazing happens in the meantime. Okay, we made it. We did have to take an icy dip in the Sea of Ghosts to make it here, but I'm not running Frostfall, so it wasn't like deadly or anything. There were no adverse gameplay effects. Sometimes when I have to do this, I'll take a resist frost potion or something. Just because, like I said, I'm not running Frostfall just because that tends to be a little too restrictive in terms of weather and its effect on the player character. But I do like there to be some kind of effect from the weather, just not what Frostfall does. So sometimes I'll just go ahead and pop a resist cold potion before I have to take an icy dip in some of these northern waters. I think this is actually one of the very few places in the game that you can't reach entirely by land. Even Septimus Cygnus's outpost, I think that's like up here somewhere. It can be reached entirely jumping along the ice drafts, or whatever those things are called, without ever having to dip a toe in the water. But yeah, this place, I've been all around it. I don't think that there is any way to get to it without swimming, which kind of sucks. Okay, now before we take on these rogue sailors, I do have to go over a couple things that I forgot to mention. So also off camera, when I took on the giant bounty over here at Cradle Crush, I did also clear out Kronvanger Cave. That is a spider den, and it also has a hidden vampire den in it as well. I cleared that out. It didn't really have any story potential as far as I could see, so I didn't record it. But I did want the crafting materials that you get from those spiders, namely their eggs and their venom. Because with Hunterborn, you can actually use their venom, combine it with some other ingredients, and cook up poisons. So I did end up with a whole lot of deadly spider venom and some strong acid. So now we have poisons that we can use to kind of bolster our damage output for tougher enemies. Also, my Hunter-born status did level up as far as my Scrimshaw abilities go. So I am able now to craft perfect bone arrows with bones that I harvest from animals. These perfect bone arrows are even better than the elven arrows. And refined moonstone has become readily available enough that I can craft as many elven arrows as I want. So, and now I'm using the elven arrows as kind of my base arrow to use, which is a pretty good improvement from the 11 damage steel arrows that we were using. That's a jump in 6 damage per arrow, which is pretty good. And then now I have the perfect bone arrows that I can go to for just a little bit more damage output if I need it against a tougher enemy. And I think we will make use of both of these right now because I believe that there is a bandit chief up there that might give us some problems. But with that being said, let's go ahead and throw down an F5 and get started on clearing this place out, huh? This being another bandit outpost, it would have been another good candidate for beast form, but we just did that. Let's try to keep things. Let's try to keep this gameplay diversity thing going here and give our faithful viewers some new looks. There we go. Oh, that draw speed is quite the boon, isn't it? Okay, so I think all we have left now is the bandit. Or the bandit chief. He's hiding under there somewhere. So let's switch to our perfect bone arrows here, and we're gonna go ahead and throw down some poison on that thing. All right, where are you? Oh, there he is. Bjorn's all over it. Good boy, Bjorn. Go. Finish him off. You got him. There you go. Okay. Good boy, Bjorn. Alright. So that went pretty well, I think. Now we just have to loot these dudes. Oh, shots to the neck. Those look like they hurt. I've never been shot in the neck with an arrow before, but it doesn't look too comfortable. Okay, so also I've installed a mod called like proper third-person aiming, I believe it's called. I think it's meant to be used with like custom camera mods, just to make the flight of the arrow, the flight path of the arrow kind of match up with where the cursor is pointing. Which kind of helps mitigate. I don't know if it's just a placebo effect or not. Maybe it doesn't affect it at all because I'm not really using too many custom cameras here, but it does seem to work a little better on eliminating some of the funky launch angles that I've noticed on some of these arrow shots. I still get the funky launch angles from third-person sneak. Actually, that one looked pretty good. That one didn't look so good. But that, I think to work around that, whenever I'm going to do a sneak shot, I'm just going to do it in first-person view. I think that works fine. As long as we're doing the bulk of our action in third person, that kind of hits the goal that I wanted as far as some kind of cinematic archery gameplay here. The other thing that was part of that is that the sort of launch angle on this on the bow, as far as the verticality of it, I flattened it out a little bit. That mod recommended that you change your launch angles to 0.7, which is a little bit more of a realistic launch angle. Whereas before, when you'd shoot an arrow, it would kind of go up a little bit before it came down to where the cursor was. Now it just pretty much goes straight to where the cursor is. So that's a little bit more realistic. Now if you want to hit a target that's farther away, you have to aim up high. Which you may have seen with that first shot on that bandit in the barbarian armor that was sitting down. So that's going to take a little bit of getting used to, although we did pretty well there, I think. So I think the getting used to it task is coming along pretty well. No problemo. What else do we have in here? Lockpicking skill book. Take that. So now lockpicking is up to 24, which is nice. One more level in lockpicking, and then we're going to be able to unlock apprentice level locks. And we're right there too. We're so close. In fact, why don't we do that right now, huh? Okay, so this is an expert level lock. We're not going to be able to pick it, but we still get levels for trying there. There we go. Now we're up to 25. Sweet. So now we are able to unlock apprentice level locks. Again, this is part of that lockpicking overhaul mod that also allows bashing locks open. There's an MCM menu for it. So locks are unpickable unless you have met the requisite skill level to sort of pick that lock. I'm not going down there. We've had our share of icy water for the time being. Okay, so I think we've satisfied Kiar's request to eliminate his rogue sailors here. So now we can return to him. We can sell off some of this loot. We can make some money. Maybe craft up some arrows if there are some available. And then I think when we're done with that at Windhelm there, we will go ahead and move on to Steamcrag Camp and fight our first mammoth. How about that? Okay, I'm going to cut the video again, and I'll see you back in Windhelm. Okay, so we've made it back to the docks here in Windhelm, so let's go ahead and turn in our bounty here. Hello, Kiar.
You don't know what freedom really means until you've lived on the river.
I think you mentioned that. Anyway, your old crew member has been taken care of.
Fine work. Here's your pay. Don't spend it all on me. Right. See you around.
You could go for some meat. Ooh, 1,000 gold. We will take that, huh? Yeah, speaking of mead, I think we are a bit hungry and thirsty here. Let's eat some stuff. Okay, we're full. Let's go and have a mead, just because he mentioned it. And some water. Great. Okay, so now I think we are on our way to Steamcrag Camp to take on the giant and the mammoth there, at least. I don't know what other surprises await for us. I'll keep the cameras rolling. If anything exciting happens on the way, I'll be sure to capture it. Otherwise, I will see you there. Okay, here we are at Steamcrag Camp. We haven't yet scouted the area, but we do see a mammoth at least back there, and we know that there's a giant here because we have a bounty for a giant over here in this area. So we shall see soon what is over here. Also, it looks like we picked up some weather along the way, huh? Yeah, well, that'll make it more cinematic, I suppose. Let's go ahead and throw down a quick save, though, just in case things get hairy here. We're also probably going to want some strong arrows and some strong poison here. Alright, so we have the mammoth. Oh, it looks like this caravan here got a little too close. Okay, we'll check them out later. Still don't see... Oh yeah, there's the giant right there. I'm actually not sure which is more of a threat, the giant or the mammoth. I might be able to take a sneak shot on both of them, though. Let's go ahead and poison our arrow before each shot. Let's start off with the giant. More poison. There we go. Alright, let's do this. Looks like we have some terrain over here that we can use too. Bjorn is absorbing a few shots there. Here comes the mammoth. Let's use the terrain to our advantage. A few shots in as we can. Throw some more venom down. Yeah, Bjorn didn't take too many shots there, did he? Okay, getting low on stamina here. Oh, the wolf came and helped. Alright, really close. There we go. Okay. I missed maybe a shot or two there, but other than that, I don't think that could have gone much better. Where is Bjorn? There he is. Let's heal him up. He fought very bravely. Here you go, big boy. He was able to take the brunt of a couple of those giant shots while I was able to get better positioning and get my offense started on the mammoth. So he was abundantly useful. Good boy. You know what? I knew you were going to be a lot better than that crotch sniffing wolf that we had before. That guy was a dork. Okay, let's see what we have for loot here. Get some of our arrows back. Alright, not bad. And then we'll check out the mammoth there later. That's going to take a little while to harvest everything that I need to from that thing. A giant chest. Doesn't look that big to me. No? Nothing? Alright. Okay. Also, before we get to the mammoth, let's go ahead and check out this... Okay, it looks like we can field dress that guy, but we're not going to do that right now. Check out this fallen caravan here. It's adept, even we can't hit that. We're only at apprentice right now. Okay, let's go ahead and take a second or two to see what we can do with this mammoth here. Get our arrows back. Oh, before I do any of this, I gotta switch to my bone amulet of the pink moon, which will give me more ingredients. Harvested from animals. I feel an encumbrance coming on here. See what kind of ingredients we can get from this guy. I'm not gonna bother harvesting meat from him. I think it's just gonna over-encumber me completely right away, and there's no way I'm gonna be able to use any of that meat. I think Araelas would feel pretty bad about taking a bunch of meat that he couldn't use. But we are going to go ahead and see if we can get all the hide from this mammoth as we can here. It's getting pretty late, huh? And Araelas is getting tired. I would be too, honestly. How many hours have we been at this here? Oh boy. Leveled up our skinning skill. That's good. Okay, finally done. Let's go ahead and get rid of that guy. And we're not even over encumbered. Nice. It's 8 p.m. Okay, so at this point, and the weather here is really really driving the point home on this feeling that Araelas is getting. He's made it closer to Riften, which is closer to his target that he was given by Aventus Aretino, which is Grella the Kind, the head of the orphanage over here in Riften. Araelas is feeling a pretty overwhelming pull, and it's not like the forest or anything darker leading him there. This is just the fact, this is his hunter's nature, his killer's nature, is that he's given a target, and it's very hard for him to resist checking that out. Oh, it looks like back there Kine is pointing out a mammoth. He's like, oh, you can kill mammoths now, huh? So that's cool. Looks like we're gonna get some mammoths targeted. I like that. Anyway, so yeah, he's got a target. He's getting closer to it. It's almost like gravity. The pull is getting stronger the closer he gets. So I think we're gonna head to Riften now, and I don't think Araelas is really explicitly going there to kill Grelod, but he just wants to see. He knows that kids are more prone to frivolity than adults. They haven't really developed that sense of self-control yet. So he just wants to check it out. Maybe Grelod isn't that bad. Maybe he's just holding a grudge. But he's feeling the pull. He's got to go check it out one way or another. So we'll finish these up, and we'll go check out what's going on over there at the orphanage. Okay, so here we are in Riften. Nothing too exciting happened. I did get attacked by a bear and a spider, and in harvesting those ingredients, I did level up my harvesting ability under Hunterborn yet again. It didn't unlock anything new in the Scrimshaw. I'm still only stuck at these perfect bone arrows. I really don't know if these are going to get any better or not, though. This might be the sort of the ultimate ammo that we can get from those. But yeah, here we are at Honor Hall Orphanage, and we're going to see what's going on here. It's already pretty late at night, so they're probably getting ready for bed, but still should give us an opportunity to kind of see what Grelod is all about.
Those who shirk their duties will get an extra beating. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, Growler.
And one more thing. I will hear no more talk of adoptions. None of you riffraff is getting adopted, ever. Nobody needs you. Nobody wants you. That, my darlings, is why you're here. Why you will always be here, until the day you come of age and get thrown into that wide, horrible world. Now, what do you all say?
We love you, Growler. Thank you for your kindness.
That's better. Now scurry off, my little gutter snipes.
Oh, well, she reminds us a little bit of Froki, but this woman is just completely emotionally scarring to these poor young children. I think that's just downright abusive, both physically, emotionally, and mentally. Constance
You really shouldn't
Michelle.
be here.
Well, hold on.
I'm sorry, but the children aren't up for adoption right now. You should go.
Is Grella always like that?
Sadly, yes. Even the townsfolk have taken to calling her Grella of the Kind. Her very existence has become something of a running joke. Grelod runs this orphanage because she's old and set in her ways and doesn't know any other life. These children need love and comfort. I try, but I'm sorry. You should go. The children aren't up for adoption, and it's cruel to get their hopes up. Besides, Grelod hates visitors.
I think the proper term there would be Grelod hates, period. So what's the story with adoption here?
I'm sorry, no. Grelod is the headmistress here, and she's decided not to allow any adoptions right now. I wish things were otherwise. All of these children deserve a better home, but there's nothing I can do.
Alright. Bjorn is blocking the passageway again. Excuse me, buddy. No, you don't know any better. Alright. Well, Araelas does feel quite a strong sense of darkness coming from this woman and this place in general. Araelas spent his childhood, much of his childhood, being very lonely. And he got used to it pretty quickly, and he's stronger for it. At least in his mind. Now, he feels like that has contributed to the strength that he's acquired as an adult. But he still feels an overwhelming pity for these children because he was in much the same situation that they're in now. And as much as he thinks he turned out okay, I think it's obvious to many of us that he didn't, considering the path that he's on. He feels kind of a responsibility to help these kids out, and luckily for him, that justifies him taking out a target that he's been given, which he feels an almost overwhelming compulsion to do at times. So since we were seen there, we're going to give it probably a couple hours, let the kids fall asleep. And we're going to see what we can do about Grelod here. Okay. Now, Araelas is well aware that the evidence here is going to be stacked against him. He was able to make a fairly clean getaway without being spotted too much. However, unfortunately for him, he's been spotted in these areas with a bear. Everybody knows he's the guy with the bear. Everybody knows he's the guy with the bow and arrow. This is a new look for him. But he's actually done bounties in Riften in this new apparel. But the fact that he is known... Actually, let's make a more nonchalant getaway over here. The fact that he's known in the Rift and kind of has a reputation for somebody who kills bandits and does a lot of good for the hold, it's going to be his reputation against Grellods. So even if people secretly know that he killed Grellod, I think he'll end up being okay. Lots of people, there were probably lots of people here looking to adopt these poor children. Grellod wouldn't let it. It seemed to be immediately obvious,
Yes?
the abuse these kids were facing at the hands of Grellod. And Araelas has done a lot of good. He's actually done nothing but good for the Rift. So I think he's going to be okay. Even if the guards know it was him based on the evidence, I think it won't really matter. So, okay, that's done. But it is late. We need to find a place to camp. We're tired. And we do have a level up that we need to take care of as well, so let's go do that. Now we were just passing through Riften this time. We're not gonna stay here, so we're gonna head back up north to Windhelm eventually. But our first order of business is to pitch camp and get some shut-eye. I think we can do that right over here amongst the canopy of trees. This seems like a pretty good place, I think. Let's set it up. A nice light snow. That's very picturesque, isn't it? Beautiful. I don't know if we have enough wood. I was distracted by the snow. But we'll see if we can build one. Yes, we can. Oh, we have plenty. Sorry, Kine, it's late. I can't chase your animals around right now. I don't even see where it might be. Okay. So let's have a seat. And reflect on our progress here. Okay, level 25. I've made a little handy-dandy cheat sheet for myself here on what traits to take at what levels. And for level 26, actually, we are looking at Magicka. Okay. I'm also looking into unlocking the adept level spells that we have, and kind of expanding our druid repertoire a little bit more, but I'm just looking for the right spot in the story to do that. Right now Araelas is on a dark path and he's in a dark place, and that doesn't really lend itself to kind of expanding on his druidic side yet. I think, as every story has ebbs and flows to it, yins and yangs, we will get to a more a turn more toward the light side with him, and I think at sort of the beginning of that turn is when I will unlock those new spells and kind of focus a little bit more on his druid side. But for right now, he's in a dark place, so we're kind of exploring the dark side of Araelas's hunter nature as opposed to his druid side. So what do we have here? Let's take a look at archery and see if there's anything we can play with here yet. We're only at level 68, we're probably not going to be able to take anything until level 70, which is going to be Beacon Talon, which seems great for short range combat, but we're still maybe closer to 1.5 archery skill points away from that. Either way, we can't use that perk for that right now. So we can look at light armor and see what we can do for survivability. Initiative, we can regenerate stamina quickly for the first 15 seconds entering combat, which would be great for holding draws and for using slow time with our zoom. As a leaf may also be helpful because TK dodge actually puts you in a sprinting state. So if somehow we miss a dodge and still end up getting hit while we're sprinting, that could be very helpful. We'll take half damage from that. So those are two things to consider. Sneak may also be helpful on this new dark path that we're on. Although, right now I have to say our sneak has been holding up fine. I don't think we have any more need for it. Although that may change soon. I think that's okay as it is. What else? Restoration and Alteration, those are two druidic things that I think we will take a little bit later. Smithing, I may have to take the Orcish smithing perk at some point to mark the turning point for Araelas, but that's not for a while yet. And archery we're stuck on, so either sneak or light armor. I think we're going to go ahead with light armor. And we haven't had too much problems dodging enemy attacks lately, so I'll save that one for later. I think we're going to get the most use out of initiative here, getting our stamina regeneration boost when we enter combat. Excellent. Okay, so I think that does it. I'm going to have to set up camp and get some rest and some food and everything and head back to Windhelm, but I'll probably do all that off camera. So I think this is a good place to end the episode. So on behalf of Araelas, I hope everybody does well in the meantime, and then next time I'll see you back in Windhelm. See ya, everybody.